Right, well, let's have a little chat about my cancer journey. I won't bore you for too long, but I thought you might find it interesting if we can. Look, let's pull up the Q&A chair. Keep it handy anyway. I could do with a sit down. I've been going all day. But got done what I want to do, and I'm really buzzing, to be honest. Yeah, so, look, about 10 years ago, I started getting a cold sore on my lip. Now, me being a guy, you know, I'd try and hide it away. I wouldn't say it to anyone, I wouldn't let anyone notice because I thought it was a cold sore. But as it turns out, right, this cold sore wasn't a cold sore. And, you know, I spent a lot of time in the heat and sun when I was younger, travelling all over the world, and pretty much what I did. Anyway, finally, the cold sore came, didn't go away. And I went to the doctors, and they referred me over to the clinic. And they immediately took a biopsy, and it was deemed to be an actinic keratosis, which is basically a sore or a lesion that happens as a result of sun damage. Now, at that time it was fine, yeah, so they did a biopsy and that was tested, and then I went into minor surgery with a plastic surgeon who, as it turns out, was no longer wanted in Australia or America, according to his doctor's record anyway, because he liked to touch the wobbly bits that he was doing plastic surgery on. Say no more. Anyway, I ended up with him, and yeah, he basically removed a wedge out of my lip, which was like always like a little tiny little skin wedge, and they came back what's called the margins, which is the amount of cells and growth around that area, which is fine. Now, I kept saying to him, I've got a lump in my cheek though, mate. It feels like there's a root to this lump in my cheek. I always had a lump there, and it felt like there was a root to that thing on my lip from that. It was like a weird, it was like an alien growth, and I could feel there was a line between the two. Completely ignored me. No one acknowledged what I was saying, so, you know, that was fine. Because the margins were not close enough, then I had to go back for surgery again. So a lovely doctor who was, I believe, Iranian. I tend to get information out of people. I don't know how I do it, but yeah, you know, I'm a chatterbox, and I think we all are from Wiltshire, aren't we? But yeah, I'm a pretty chatty person, and I end up getting loads of info out of people, even if it's like for 2 minutes. Anyway, she was Iranian, lovely doctor out of London. She was consulting for plastic surgery in Bury St Edmunds, where I was referred to, and yeah, she took a further wedge from the skin to achieve better margins, and that came back all fine. Because I hadn't consulted with her, I had no opportunity to really tell her there's a lump in my cheek, and there was still a bloody lump in my cheek which had like a root. It was like a line going from that to this lump. Now, I went to the doctors once or twice more, and I mentioned the lump, and no one seemed to fucking take it seriously, to be honest, and apologised afterwards. So anyway, because no one else cared, I didn't care. And, you know, subsequently, a year later, that lump in my cheek got big, and it got bloody painful. And, you know, it actually came really close to piercing through my skin. So where this cancer was growing, it was essentially eating away the healthy cells. And it came in literally in the space of 3 months, my cheek swelled up like a golf ball. It was after we came back from holiday in Mauritius. I was rushed through and then finally referred to an actual, you know, cancer specialist over at Addenbrooke's Hospital in Cambridge, and the team there are absolutely amazing. Dr. Chang Bon Man, one of the most amazing doctors I've ever met. The guy is a super genius, like, you know, super clever. And then also another doctor I was referred under was one that was on BBC, Dr. Cameron, really cool guy. I'll never forget when he said to me, he says, I think you're about to lose your whiskers. You know, well, that time I was growing like a moustache and a little goatee. He's like, you're going to lose your whiskers, mate, sorry. I was like, yeah, I know, fucking bummer, innit? Anyway, yeah. So then I was rushed through surgery. They took a biopsy again, which is so painful. I tell you what, like, when you've got an open sore in your mouth and they stick needles in it, it hurts. Like, you've never known pain. So now if I bang myself with a hammer or cut my hands like I do every bloody day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. That's not pain. What pain is that? Needles in the mouth of a fresh lesion that hurts. It's ridiculous. And yeah, as it turned out, they went for surgery after that, hence why I've got all this going on, and then had radiotherapy as a follow-up. Now, surgery, I was pretty quick to recover, to be fair. I mean, 2 days later, I was doing accounts for the business and chatting to the guys, and you know, me being me, I was just wanted to get out of there, really, to be honest. And yeah, so I proceeded to go home. Got quite drunk a lot of the time. Yeah. just to deal with the pain. I mean, bloody hurt, don't get me wrong, they really hurt. The recovery was painful, but by that point, nothing compared to having, you know, hundreds of needles stuck in a fresh lesion. I can tell you that now. That was the most painful thing of my life, and I'm now forever haunted with needles in my face and mouth. So in the last kind of 4 or 5 weeks, I've had, well, actually over the last, well, my mouth cancer, yeah, radiotherapy finished about 1 year ago now, and yeah, so we had the 1 year appointment. You think, yeah, get in, because your mortality rate goes up or something like that, you know, after a year and so forth. And yeah, anyway, I've started getting these sores that appear on my mouth. I get lots of ulcers anyway, and they say it's as a result of radiotherapy or so on and so forth. I mean, your skin has basically changed completely over here. I started getting one sore particular under my tongue at the very back, and I kept saying to them, they marked it as an anomaly. That was about 2 months ago, and then more recent weeks, 5 or 6 weeks, it's came and it didn't go away. And yeah, so basically went back to the doctor again, the same consultant, Dr. Chang Bon Man, and I've been fast tracked through, and I had a biopsy on Monday. Today's Saturday, and I went back to work the next day. I had a biopsy under general anaesthetic this time, and it was because they tried under local, but it was so far back behind my tongue they couldn't get it, and so yeah, they put me into sleep, and yeah, I managed to get out the same day, thank God. I hate hospitals, but I can tell you now, like, there must be some form of PTSD or something with that. Because you know, when I walked into the hospital, you know, for pre-surgery checkup or whatever they got, pre-ops. I mean, when I came out, I sat in the van and I screamed and I shouted. It was just awful, you know. I was just remembering that kind of haunting moment when you're going through and you know your fucking life is going to change forever, and your ability to do things is going to change forever. So here I am now, here 1 year later. Well, 1 year and 3 months later. Can't really eat food properly. Tend to dribble a lot. Had to drink everything through a straw. Beer tastes like vomit. I used to love beer. Yeah, it's a bit of a shitter, but you know, it is what it is. Not asking for sympathy. I'm just telling you my story, really. So yeah, last 6 weeks had this pain. The lesions came, didn't go away, still there. And so yeah, they fast tracked for biopsy, and now here I wait. I have to wait 2 to 4 weeks, and that happened on Monday. And yeah, I mean, the mental ability to cope with the waiting of 2 to 4 weeks is pretty full on, man, because, you know, if the cancer is set there in my trachea, then, you know, really it can be involved cutting your tongue out and losing your voice and probably having a tube in your stomach to eat for the remainder of your days, and that's pretty full on consequence to deal with, and hard to kind of shake the thought of what that actually means in your life long term. But, you know, maybe nothing, maybe something. There are plausible explanations for such things in post-cancer patients, but obviously everybody jumped to attention the minute it kind of came about. And so here we are. I'm a complete nutcase as a result of it. Now, one thing I just want to explain a little bit about is the tree trunk came around when I was going through recovery. Yeah, the idea of it, the concept of it, and I looked it up, saw what other people had done, thought, yeah, this is going to be bloody brilliant. I'm going to do one, definitely, because our staircase was nearly falling apart. It was rotten, and the missus couldn't get up it nicely. It hurt her knees and her hips, and so I was, yeah, we're going to do it. So anyway, that's why I embarked on that journey, and it came to a point that, look, before cancer, my mind used to track at about 1 million miles a minute. Now it tracks at about 2 billion miles a minute. And I spoke to a cancer psychologist about this, and he said to me it's a very common thing for cancer patients to experience is the racing of the mind, because you know, when you come that close to the reality of death in some ways, you kind of you then live forevermore with the consequence of death, and the fact that, you know, life's way too short, and you know, I just do crazy shit because life's way too short. You know, it could go tomorrow. You know, anything could happen at any given moment, and I mean, I always thought that anyway, because I'm quite a philosophical person, but you know, now it's even more real than it ever was, and you know, people think I'm running around like stoned or something, but I'm not. This is genuinely me. I'm not doing anything. I just, you know, I'm just more a nutcase than I ever was, really, and Yeah, I hope that explains a bit about who I am and what I'm going through. I don't want sympathy, I'm not asking for it. But Milwaukee, if you're watching, free tools! I am your biggest fan. I've converted every tradesman I ever met into Milwaukee tools because they're bloody brilliant. And any other tool tradesman or anyone else who wants to sponsor me, great stuff. Let's get it done. In fact, I'll tell you now, the chisels that I've got, and I've met many carpenters who know about these chisels. They're called framing chisels. They're bloody brilliant. From France. I'll quickly show you them because what they do, where is it? Oh, when you want one, you can't find one, can you guys? I've got to get one because I've got to show you this now. I've said about it. Oh, well. Anyway, look, I'll show you my finishing chisels. Finishing chisels are Nyrex, made in the Czech Republic. Fantastic chisels. When you sharpen them, it's literally one rub on the stone and they're razor sharp again. You know, it's the quality of the metal and it's absolutely fantastic. Let me just grab a framing chisel to show you because these are really unique, and I've met a few joiners now who've never come across them. They've come across the term, but not these ones. Let's have a look. Now, these are high impact framing chisels. They're made in France. I'll tell you the brand in a minute. These are absolutely bloody brilliant. I mean, these things are legendary. That's what I was looking at. Just trying to read it. This one's a bit bloody rusty to be. I left it out in the rain. Oh, there's a good clean one that I can show you. That's a bit something to be proud of. Anyway, there you go. Right, it's called Arnaud in France. Now these things sharpen like a razor. Is again one rub on the stone. Once you've got the bevel you want set and how you want it done, they sharpen up really nicely. Now if you look at it, it's got a slight bend, and that bend makes a massive difference when you're cutting out and framing. You're doing like the big chip offs and stuff. These chisels are just bloody brilliant. They're also high impact, completely metal, so that when you use them, you know, you can whack the bejesus out of them, don't matter what hammers you use. Obviously with your Nyrex ones you've got to use a wooden hammer, but they're finishing chisels anyway, so you wouldn't use a normal hammer with normal weight. Yeah, there you go. There's my story about cancer. There's my chisels. Give me some free tools. Bye.